There is no matter as such, mind is the matrix of all matter. Science advances one funeral at a time. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. I regard consciousness as fundamental. I regard matter as derivative from consciousness. We cannot get behind consciousness. Everything that we talk about, everything that we regard as existing, postulates consciousness. Science cannot solve the ultimate mystery of nature. And that is because, in the last analysis, we ourselves are a part of the mystery that we are trying to solve. In all my research I have never come across matter. To me the term matter implies a bundle of energy which is given form by an intelligent spirit. An experiment is a question which science poses to nature, and a measurement is the recording of nature's answer. Insight must precede application. Experiment is the only means of knowledge at our disposal. Everything else is poetry, imagination. It was not by accident that the greatest thinkers of all ages were deeply religious souls. Anybody who has been seriously engaged in scientific work of any kind realizes that over the entrance to the gates of the temple of science are written the words, "Ye must have faith." A scientist is happy, not in resting on his attainments but in the steady acquisition of fresh knowledge. Every advance in knowledge brings us face to face with the mystery of our own being. The pioneer scientist must have a vivid intuitive imagination, for new ideas are not generated by deduction, but by artistically creative imagination. The assumption of an absolute determinism is the essential foundation of every scientific inquiry. The scientist needs an artistically creative imagination. All matter originates and exists only by virtue of the force. The entire world we apprehend through our senses is no more than a tiny fragment in the vastness of nature. I had always looked upon the search for the absolute as the noblest and most worthwhile task of science. An important scientific innovation rarely makes its way by gradually winning over and converting its opponents. What does happen is that the opponents gradually die out. Whence come I and whither go I? That is the great unfathomable question, the same for every one of us. Science has no answer to it. Scientific discovery and scientific knowledge have been achieved only by those who have gone in pursuit of it without any practical purpose whatsoever in view. Experimenters are the shock troops of science. Ego is the immediate dictate of human consciousness. It is never possible to predict a physical occurrence with unlimited precision. It is not the possession of truth, but the success which attends the seeking after it, that enriches the seeker and brings happiness to him. No burden is so heavy for a man to bear as a succession of happy days. A new truth always has to contend with many difficulties. If it were not so, it would have been discovered much sooner. Scientific work will never stop, and it would be terrible if it did. If there were no more problems, you would put your hands in your pockets and your head on a pillow and would work no more. In science rest is stagnation, rest is death.